Hello friends, Jai Shri Ram. Today we are going to see what is Jenkins. If you have the slightest idea of what is CI/CD pipeline, you might not be unaware of the word Jenkins. Jenkins is still the market leader. It has been so many years. The reason is it's the only CI/CD pipeline provider which is absolutely free without any strings attached and is open source. So let us study what is Jenkins. Before that, you will need to understand what is CE/CI/CD. So CE/CI/CD is also called as continuous delivery pipeline. I am explaining it from the prism of SAFe, but you see it in any project management methodology, the concept is the same. It basically consists of three things, that is continuous exploration, continuous integration, and continuous deployment. Continuous exploration means your product backlog should keep on refining continuously every single iteration. CI, that is continuous integration, means that your source code should continuously keep on upgrading. That means your team might consist of 2 arts. Every art might be consisting of 5 teams each, and every team must be having 7 to 9 people, out of which maybe 3 or 4 must be developers. So all of these people must be working every single day on that product. So their code should properly get merged on to the higher level branches, and ultimately there should be a master branch upon which everybody's code should get merged. That is called as continuous integration. And the third thing is continuous deployment. That means whenever there is a change to the master branch should get deployed on various environments. Now there are so many environments like development environment, QA environment, staging environment, production environment. So master branch might be getting deployed maybe on production environment and staging environment. So this should happen frequently. It should not be once in a blue moon that we are giving a release from the master branch. It should happen more and more regularly. That is called as continuous deployment. The idea is that whenever a new piece of code gets added to the master branch, it should newly get deployed on all the platforms that it supports, like maybe the staging environment and the production environment. So that is called as CD. So to implement CE/CI/CD, that is continuous delivery pipeline, we have so many different tools. One of them is Jenkins. Jenkins is basically an automation server that can automate tasks like building, testing, deploying your software. It's a Java-based program, so it is platform agnostic. See, Java is a language which basically compiles the Java file into a bytecode, and then it has JREs for every platform. So by platform I mean Windows operating system working on an Intel processor can be one platform. Windows operating system working on AMD Athlon processor is another platform. Linux operating system could be another platform. iOS machine can be another platform. Your ATM machine can be another platform. Your Mars rover can be another platform. Do you know, Java is one of the very few languages which is so platform agnostic that you can use Java code for every single platform. So how is this possible? This is possible because every platform just has a different JRE. JRE is Java runtime environment. So Java runtime environment will interpret the bytecode into the respective machine level code. So maybe a Windows machine would be having a separate JRE, Linux machine would be having a separate JRE, iOS machine would be having a separate JRE. So this way, in Java, you write the code once, it gets compiled to bytecode, and then you have different JREs for different platforms. So you can use the same code on different platforms. So that is why Java is a very famous programming language. And since Jenkins is made in Java, it is also platform agnostic, right? It's absolutely open source and free with no strings attached, and hence it is very popular. It can be installed through native system packages, Docker, or it can be run standalone by any machine with a JRE installed. So we are going to do exactly that. This is my PC, and we are going to install Jenkins on it as a standalone system. I have given a comparison chart that every other provider of CE CI/CD pipeline, or maybe CI/CD pipeline you can say, because CE does not require any tool. So CI/CD pipeline. So every provider of CI/CD pipeline, like TeamCity, Circle CI, and Bamboo, and GitLab. So all of them are paid, as you can see over here. And Jenkins happens to be the only one which is absolutely free without any strings attached. Summary slides. Now see, our slideshow are having two pieces henceforth. One was the introduction that I've just covered. Now the next section is summary slides. So here I'm not explaining the topic in detail, but I'm summarizing the important commands and those things that you'd like to take notes of. So these are like your notes. So there must be 4 slides in summary slide. Then there's a thank you slide, and after that there are detailed slides. So in the detailed slides, you have all the screenshots of every little step. So those are detailed steps. I won't go into their nitty-gritty. Of course, detailed slides are more detailed than this video also. In this video also, I won't discuss every little thing in too much of detail. But it will be important for you if you get stuck anywhere. Okay, you'll be amazed to know that this slide deck has more than 150 slides. Okay, but it also includes this kind of title slides, and then a thank you slide, and that kind of things. So but still it has a lot of slides, and the only intention is that you don't get stuck anywhere. Besides, you'll also love to know that this is an absolutely fresh machine. I haven't installed anything on this. I actually reset Windows just for this demonstration. So let us install everything afresh. The machine setup will be done in front of you so that you don't miss out any step. So let's get started. In the summary slides, the first slide is about the machine setups. So looks like my machine also requires a setup. So let's take advantage of this, and let's move on to these websites. So let me just arrange it like this so that you're able to see. The first thing that we need to install is Git. So let us go to its official website. This is the official website of Git. Here you will see a download button. Just download it from here. I have a 64-bit machine. If you don't know whether your machine is 64-bit or not, just go to System Information, and here you will be able to see that it is a 64 based PC. That means it's a 64-bit machine. So I'm downloading this setup. Yeah, here also it is a standalone installer or a portable thumb drive edition. So thumb drive edition means it gets installed on a thumb drive, that is a pen drive, and you have to insert that every time you want to use it. So I don't want that. I want a standalone installer. So let me start the setup. What is Git? Git is a SCM, that is source code manager. So it basically manages your source code. It has 2 repos. Just go with the default option, don't change anything. What else is there? Okay, fine. Fine, no problem. There are a lot of options in Git. I don't want to confuse you this time, but if you want to know more about Git, then kindly see this particular video in which I've explained it in a great amount of detail, especially how you can configure it with VS Code. So in this video, I'm just going with the default options. Okay. So Git basically has 2 repos. One is your local repository and another is a global repository. Global repository can be kept at various Git service providers like GitHub, Bitbucket, or GitLab. We are going to use GitHub this time. Okay, so there it is. I'm unchecking this and come on. Somehow it's not working. Okay, I guess it got installed, but okay, fine. The second thing that we are going to install is Node.js. So Node.js means what? Previously, JavaScript used to be run. So just download it from here. It gets downloaded. Just run that setup. So previously, JavaScript used to be run in the browsers. Then one fine day, one person took the V8 JavaScript engine from Google Chrome and wrapped it around in a C++ program, so that JavaScript could now be run on your Windows operating system. And that C++ wrapper is called as Node.js. So it is just a C++ wrapper around the V8 JavaScript engine of Google Chrome, so that your JavaScript code can now run on your operating system Windows as well. Okay, so when you install it, it automatically installs Node Package Manager. So just like Java has Maven and .NET has NuGet packages, uh, this JavaScript world also has a package manager called as Node Package Manager. So Node.js actually manages those packages. Then JRE. So let me install JRE from the official website. Okay, so JRE for my Windows 64-bit is over here. I'll just download it. JRE will be the same for your platform. I mean, for any platform, there's only one JRE. Whereas JDK can be of various versions. JDK is the compiler of JavaScript, and JRE is the runtime of the JavaScript. So runtime is always the same because it only takes bytecode, but JDK keeps changing. So based on the version of the JDK, you have to write the code a little differently. But mostly it is the same. But yeah, a few things here and there keep on adding with the newer versions. Okay, so installing Java. So by Java, I mean Java runtime environment. That is JRE. Okay, did it get installed? Yes. Okay, the next thing that we want to install is JDK, that is Java Development Kit. But here I need a specific version of JDK because uh, this Jenkins works only with 3 versions of JDK, and one of them, the latest of them, is JDK 21. So we'll be installing JDK 21. So here we go, JDK, Windows. The type of installation, see, normally it comes in MSI, that is Microsoft Installer, exe or zip file. So I'll always go with the MSI. MSI is the proper way of, creating setup. But certain companies create setup in the form of exe also, and certain others create it in the form of zip as well. I'll always prefer MSI over the rest of the two. Okay, how big is that? 162 MB. That means my internet is really slow. Okay, so let us install. I opened it twice, I guess. Okay, no problem. Fine. Fine. So this is the setup. See, it gets installed over here. This is a very important part. See, normally all the installation files of any program are always there in your program files. Okay, so here program files has a folder called as Java. Then inside that there's a folder called as JDK 21, and it will also have a bin folder inside it. So we will need this path during the installation of Jenkins, because Jenkins will ask you where your JDK 21 is installed. At that time, you remember this path and you give that path there. Okay. Okay, so it is successfully installed, and for the next step it says that, you know, if you want to read the documentation or go through the tutorials, then please click next steps. I'll say no. I'll do something else. So that is it. Android Studio. Now this is a little optional thing. If you don't want to install Android Studio, then at least you need Android SDK and Android, that is software development kit, and you require Gradle, that is the build engine of Android. So if you don't want to go through all that trouble then of installing both these things separately, it's always better to install Android Studio. So I'll go ahead and install Android Studio. It's a huge setup. It's going to take some time, and even to install it, it's going to take time. So Koala is the newest version of Android Studio. You must be aware that Android operating system is always named after some food product, especially like Kit Kat or something sweet, and Android Studio is always named after animals. So the animal that is latest to their dictionary is koala. Okay, you read all the this terms and conditions and it'll get installed. So it is a 1.1 GB setup, so it's going to take some time. So until that time, I take the liberty of moving ahead. Let us install the other software like VS Code. VS Code is Visual Studio Code. It is basically an IDE, that is integrated development environment. So here, depending upon the platform that you're working upon, you select one of the buttons. Here, even for Windows, it has different types of installers, like if you want a CLI or a zip or something like that. And then again, depending upon the system that you're working on, is it a 64-bit one or an ARM64? It depends. Now, if you don't know much, then just click the big button saying Windows. So it will determine what kind of system you are using, and it will download the setup accordingly. Now you can understand what is the difference between the two setups. This one is very heavy. Android Studio is a very heavy IDE, and VS Code is an extremely light IDE. It's just 100 MB, lesser than 100 MB, whereas this one is like 1.1 GB, so it is 10 times as heavy as VS Code. So I'm going to open this setup of VS Code. Just go with the default options, don't change anything, except maybe you'd like to add check these two options, that add this option in Windows Explorer file context menu and directory context menu. So what it means is, when you right click on any folder, like if you right click on any folder, you'll get this, right? This is the context menu. Now when you go to show more options, here you see that open in terminal, open in git GUI, git bash. Similarly, you'll get an option saying open in with VS Code or open with code. Okay, and this context menu could be of a file or a folder, depending upon what you right click. So both of them should be having this option. That's why I've checked both these checkboxes. We'll go next. Just go with the default options, don't bother so much. Okay, so it's a very light IDE. It's not going to take too long. Okay, and you can even launch it. I don't want to launch it at the moment. Now going next, let us create an account on GitHub. So this is the official website of GitHub. The way I normally sign in is with my credentials, which I've already given. I've registered to it. If you haven't registered, then please create an account. Okay, I already have an account and I'm just logging in. Verification code on my Gmail. So okay, I'll have to access Gmail in front of you. Okay, there it is. Copying it, pasting it. Yeah. So now these are all the repositories that I have. This is a repository that I'll delete and I'll recreate right in front of you. So this is the same repo that we created in my Ionic Angular tutorial as well. but just to demonstrate the whole thing again, I'll delete it. So for deleting it, you have to go to the settings, and you just scroll down to the bottom. You get delete this repo option, and then you have to just copy this thing and paste it below and delete. Okay, so it got deleted. Now I have only these 3 repos. Now let us create um, an Ionic Angular project. So where should we create it? Let me see. Let me first see whether that Android Studio got downloaded. Yeah, this Android Studio has downloaded. I'll run this setup quickly. So this is that setup. Okay. So this is Android Studio setup. Okay, now it has opened twice. Okay. So I'll just run one of the 3 setups, so that one of the 4 setups actually. Okay, so again, remember here, this is the installation location of Android Studio. So again, just like Java, it also installed in Android folder and then Android Studio. Okay. By that time, I'll close the rest of the setups because I don't need them. Okay, fine. This is Visual Studio Code IDE. Now it comes in various themes. If you really want to choose them, you can choose from them. But I'll keep it the way it is. See, you can have high contrast, or this one, that one. I think this dark modern is correct. No problem there. Now let us complete this setup first, and then let us, by that time, we can search a location where we can keep our code. So maybe I like to keep my code in E drive. Maybe my code. Yeah, my code is a good way of doing it. SSB. Okay. Over here we'll keep it. I'll delete rest of them. Okay. 1 GB. Okay. Okay, I guess this setup is complete. Let me start Android Studio for the first time. See, this is Koala. Okay, now don't send anything. Yeah, I'm just going next. Yeah, with the default options. At the moment, see, these are all the plugin kind of things that is going to install. So I'll just say next. It's a very heavy thing. I'll say accept. Yeah, come on. I don't know what has happened to the next button. So should I be, I guess I'll have to select SDK license. This one I have to accept. Okay, fine. And then I have to say finish. Okay, so it will install all the other components of Android Studio. Okay, now this is the location where we have to create the project, right? Let me create a folder over here. My code is the correct folder. That I just wanted that folder itself. Is it done yet? Okay, about 10 seconds more. Okay, good. Now here I just wanted to change this folder's name to something like this, and I like to keep this under Windows, under YouTube, because yeah, and this thing I'll delete. Yeah, I always wanted this, or maybe I could even call it all my code. Yeah, we already have one. We already have one. Greet hello. See that? Okay. So I had already created one project of that name. Okay, let it get deleted. I'll just open this folder in VS Code. So how to open it? Just right click over here and you have that context menu now, that open with code. So now it automatically gets opened in the VS Code IDE. Of course, you have to trust all the authors and everything. Yeah. Why? Because there's already a project over here. So I'm asking it to delete this one. Is it going to take time? Okay, no worries. It has an integrated IDE. So, okay, let this happen. It has an integrated IDE. So what I can do is I can control tilde and this integrated terminal comes up. I want it to be of the type command line terminal. So better it is that I can go to settings over here. So, where are the settings? Select the default profile and here I can say that it should be command prompt. So next time whenever I open any terminal, it always turns out to be a command line terminal. See, it always turns out to be a command line terminal. So what I do first is I'm going to give a command like Ionic start and maybe greet hello. Okay, Ionic is not recognized. Yeah, I did not mention it over here, so I forgot. I have to first install Ionic. So the way to do it is, let's go to the official website. I'll tell you the right way of doing it. Where is the browser? I closed it probably. Yeah. So let's go to the official website of Ionic. Ionic framework. This is the official website, ionicframework.com. Here, getting started. So npm command is npm installed globally Ionic CLI. So I'll just take that command and I'll go to the command prompt. Where's my command prompt? I kept it here, right? Here I'm just putting this command, enter. This will install Ionic framework and basically it's command line interface as well. Okay, while this is happening and this is getting deleted, Fortel Scanner 2. Okay, I'll introduce you to Ionic framework. There are a couple of commands that I gave over here on the next slide. Yeah, these are the Ionic CLI commands. For example, Ionic start will be to create a command. Ionic serve will be to launch that Ionic program, and so on. So these are commands. And then Ionic UI components are the components that we can use in an Ionic project. So feel welcome to go through all this. Okay, so there are so many components like buttons, cards, chips, content, time picker, date picker, grid, so on. So if you want to use these components and you don't know how to do it, then just click them. You will see how it will look using Ionic Angular. And this is the code. You can copy the code, or maybe you can go to you can click over here to open it in Stack Blitz, which is the online version of, or a cloud version of VS Code. It looks just like VS Code. It will have all the files and everything, but it is in your browser window. So you can modify the files online itself, and you can see what is the effect on the right hand side where it shows the outlook. output. Okay, I guess they are still getting deleted. Okay, Ionic CLI got installed. Now what I'm saying is again the same command, Ionic start greet hello. So this should create greet hello Ionic project. It's asking me which framework I should be using. I'll say Angular. Which template? I'll say blank template, ng modules. That's it. Let it go and create it. Now it is installing Capacitor. Capacitor is see what Ionic does is Ionic just creates a website. Capacitor on the other hand converts that website into an Android app, means a mobile app, or an iOS mobile app, or a Windows exe. So it's basically just the website which gets exported as these mobile apps or the Windows exe, and this exporting of the website into some other platforms setup is called as is done by Capacitor. So that is the significance of Capacitor. Ionic will only create a website, whereas Capacitor will convert it into some mobile app or some Windows app. Okay, now what is it doing? It is installing Capacitor's core. Why is it taking so long? Okay, let it continue. Where is the deletion? Okay, it's also continuing. Okay, let me go ahead. Then we'll be creating Java key store to hold various Java keys. Now this is a Java concept, this is not an Android Studio concept, so you don't require to do this in Android Studio. But in my Ionic Angular tutorial, I taught you to generate a Java key store and a Java key using Android Studio. And then I told you how to sign the APK using that key in Android Studio. But in reality, you don't require to do that. It is very much a Java concept. It is not a Google concept. It's not an Android Studio concept. So you don't require Android Studio. Android Studio is just an easier way of doing it because it's the GUI. But you can very well do this using command line as well. Okay, a lot of questions are being asked. What's happening? Okay, after that we'll be installing Jenkins, ngrok, and we'll be creating these batch files to automatically trigger them, automatically start them. Ngrok will point to the URL of the Jenkins server, and we'll then copy that and it will create a proxy URL for this localhost 8081, and that proxy URL will copy and will keep it in GitHub webhook. And that is how whenever you push the code in the GitHub, it will intimate the ngrok proxy URL and thereby localhost 8081 where Jenkins server is installed, and then Jenkins will come to know that a push event has taken place, so it will trigger the pipeline. So this concept is called as webhook. Okay, so finally I guess Capacitor core is getting installed. It's taking awfully long time. It should not take that long ideally. I don't know what's wrong with my machine. I just reset my machine, so all the software got deleted, but still it should not take that long. Okay, then this is getting deleted. Very good. The next thing we do is we will then create a pipeline in Jenkins, and these will be the steps or stages in that pipeline. Now there's a tip from me that before you create a pipeline and add these stages to it, you try running this in the workspace directory of that pipeline, because everything that you can give in a pipeline is to be there in the command line syntax. And you should ensure that this actually runs first, and then you should create a pipeline so as to save your time and also to maintain your confidence, because once the pipeline stops working, you start losing your confidence. So try to go step by step. And after that, we'll also see how to verify an APK, verify whether a APK is signed or not properly. So that stage can also be added to your pipeline. So that's it, I guess. What is happening here? It's taking really long. So by the time this gets completed, let me take the opportunity to thank one of my close friends and an excellent DevOps person, Mayuri Sindekar. While I was studying Jenkins, I'm new to Jenkins. I've been into management for very long, and basically, you know, connecting to my umbilical cord of development took me a while, and I took the help of Mayuri Sindekar. She is an excellent DevOps person. Now, turns out that she was also new to Jenkins, but her brain was sharper as compared to me. She's an accomplished person. She had very good marks in 10th, 12th, and she's really accomplished. So, you know, whenever I faced a difficulty, I used to ask her. She was very kind to answer. And then whenever I studied something, I used to give her a reverse KT, that's, you know, this is what I studied about Jenkins. And she was very kind to understand, and she also encouraged me to make the pipeline more and more robust. Like when I said I made this pipeline, she would say, okay, how can I trigger it directly from the GitHub? I'm just giving an example. So this is the way she kept on pushing me, and you might be amazed to know that it took me 4 weekends just to make this PPT and just to get ready for this video. And she was with me every step of the way. So thanks a lot to her. This video was made possible by Mayuri Sindekar. Thanks to her. Now let us go ahead. Let me tell you what has happened so far. So it has installed Capacitor also. Yeah, it has installed Capacitor haptics. Okay. So see here, what it did is it first installed Capacitor's core, then it installed Capacitor's CLI, that is command line interface. That means now I can use Capacitor from a command line terminal window. Terminal window means anything that looks a black window like this, that is called as a terminal window. Okay, and then it is saying that install Capacitor haptics. Haptics is, or haptics, I don't know what is the pronunciation, but what this does is it basically when you develop Ionic program, and let us say that you make an Android app out of it, then your app is now able to vibrate the phone. That capacity or that capability is given to it by Capacitor's haptics. Okay, and then you have Capacitor app, Capacitor keyboard, what else? Capacitor status bar. Okay, so you get the idea, right? All those features can be added to your Android mobile app now. Or even iOS mobile app, because Capacitor is generic. Capacitor can either convert your website into an Android app or an iOS app or a Windows app. Okay, and then what happened? Capacitor initialize. Okay, so Ionic starter, this is okay. So now it is telling that this is the output directory of your Ionic. So Ionic will create a website, right? And that website, what is a website? Website is just a folder in which a couple of files are there, right? So that folder, that means your website is www. Okay, so there will be a folder called www. So now a Capacitor is telling itself that you know, whenever you want to make a mobile app or a Windows app out of this project, then you go to this web directory, that is www, means you get the code from here and then you create your app. Okay, so that's it, I guess. Then it does npm install. So what npm install does is okay, I'll just answer the question. No, I don't want to create an Ionic account. Okay. Okay, so what npm install does is it basically looks into the package.json file and installs the node.js uh, packages from it, and then makes the entry of the actual version that was installed in package log.json. So I've already explained this in my Ionic tutorial video. And then okay, I do not create an account now. Yeah, now git add. So now it is doing git init. That means it basically initialized a git repository, so it just created that local git repository. So now if you see the folder, this folder should be having a .git file. So let me just open this in the file explorer. So now it has a .git folder, and that means that this entire thing is actually now the local git repository of git. Okay, so this is your local git repository. Why? Because it contains .git folder. See, whenever you have dot and something written in the folder name, then that folder is to be accessed by some program. And which program? So the program name is given over here, that is git. So .git folder will be accessed by git program. So you are not supposed to access it. Similarly, .vs code folder will be accessed by VS Code program, and you are not supposed to access it. And that's why when it's a standard that whenever you give dot in the beginning of the folder name, it means that humans should not be using it. It is meant for a certain program, and which program should be using it, that program's name is given after that dot. Okay, and these are the node modules that it installed. So my goodness, a lot of them. Okay, so that's all, I guess. After that, it initialized the git repo, and it added all the files. That means it staged all the files. So there are two things. There are changes that you did in your git repo, and then you stage those changes, and then you commit those changes. Okay, and then committing those changes means moving those changes into your local git repo. Okay, and then see, it has committed those changes, the stage changes, and this is the initial commit, is the commit message. Okay, that's it. So then it finally says that, you know, I've already created this app for you. Let me check. Yeah, I've already created this this folder, and you can do Ionic serve to run this. So I'll do one thing. I'll just do whatever it says. I'll just copy this, I'll paste it. So I went into that folder. I'm saying Ionic serve. That means it will build the project and deploy it in its own local server. You should allow the Node.js JavaScript runtime. Okay, so now it will build your project. It will create a website out of it, and that website will be deployed in an internal server which this Ionic CLI maintains, and then it shows that, means now it has deployed it on that internal server, right? It's called as a live server, I guess. I don't remember now, but I think it is called as a live server, and the website is now opened in your default web browser. So this is how that application is. Now let me make a few changes to it. Let me change this message to, let's say, greet hello, so that it does justice to what our program is. It is greet hello, right? So let me go to the place where that code is. So to know the folder structure, again, go to my Ionic tutorial. I've explained it to you in a great amount of detail over there. Yep. Now, okay, I'll change everything. I'll say here greet hello, again greet hello. So here, if you notice, it is exactly the same. It's ion header, ion toolbar, ion title. Ion header, Ion toolbar, Ion title. So what is the difference? The difference is that this is the collapsed state of your header, and this is the normal state of your header. So normally what happens is, this is the header, right? So this is the header, and it looks like a toolbar, right? So that is why it has this shadow and everything, right? So this is because we are using a toolbar inside Ion header, and then you have a title. So title means, see, this is big, right? It's not like this is normal font, and this is a little bigger, right? So that's why it's bigger, because it is a title. Okay, now this is just the header that we have just seen, but if you if you have a lot of material over here, and if you scroll it, then you will notice that this header will collapse, condense, and in that condensed state, how will that header look? So header will look like this. Again, it has a header, that means it will be at the top. It has toolbar, that means it will have this kind of an effect with the shadow and everything. And then title means the text appears a little larger as compared to the rest of the text. Okay, and this is just that material at the middle, so I've removed it, so it will get removed. Come on. Oh yeah, I haven't saved it, so let me save it so that all the changes get reflected. See, I haven't written over here, I haven't written anything over there. So here I'll just say greet, hello, or I'll just say hello. Hello is also okay. Okay, now, oh yeah, save it. Yeah, it's coming over here, right? There's no problem. Now, if you get tired of saving it on your own, then control comma, and here you search for autosave. Your autosave is right over here. I'll say, yeah, autosave after a delay. And how much delay do you want? So again, search for delay. There are so many delays out of this is hover delay, hover delay, this, that. Okay, autosave, yeah, autosave delay is 1 second. So after every second, every file gets saved now. So if I do any change like hello world, then auto saves itself and it keeps reflecting. I'm once again removing it, it got saved automatically, and you're able to see it like this, right? Okay, this is enough. Now what I'll do is I'll commit this to the local git repo, okay, because we don't have any global git repos at the moment. So I'll just first of all I'll have to stage everything. So what I can do is I can just write just select everything, and then oh yeah, these are all the stage changes. Yeah, this one is unstaged, so unstaged things I'll have to put in the staged, or maybe you just click this plus icon or this plus icon to stage all of them together. So now all the changes are staged. So A means it is added, that means it is now staged. Okay, now what I can do is I can just give a message and I can commit it, but for that yeah, so it will first ask me to configure my username and email. So for that, what you have to do is again just see this message properly. User.name and user.email is not there in Git. So the way to do it is you go to the terminal again. Okay, you open another terminal. So it opens at this location, and what I can do is I can just give this command that git config global user.name, and what should be the user.name? Amit.Shirasao. Now I don't remember the syntax exactly, but I remember a video in which I have given this syntax. So let me go to that video. It's my own video, YouTube Amit Shirasao Git VS Code. Seriously? Okay, let me go to my channel. I'll be able to search it better over here.
I can switch system. Now what is switch?
Something is wrong with my mouse today. Git. So this one, adding Git to VS Code. So I won't go through the whole video. I'll just go to the description, and here I must have given something. Git config. Yeah, this is correct, but I want it globally. Okay. So everything is correct, but instead of saying -g, it should be -- global. Rest is the same. So I'll give exactly the same, or maybe I'll say CLS up. Yeah, here I'll give -- global, and the name, maybe I can give the name like this. Yeah, it happened. And here I can give the email and the value of the email, that is this. Okay, done. Now when you commit your code, it goes through, there is no problem. Okay, but now this code has gone only till your local Git repo. You have to push it to your global Git repo, but you don't have a global Git repo as of now because you haven't decided which should be the Git provider that you want to use. So let us use GitHub. We already saw this, by the way. We have this GitHub repo, right? Where's my GitHub repo? Yeah, this is my okay. This we haven't created a repo for it now. Everything is in, I mean, this everything in dark. I can't understand what's going on. Let me change the theme a bit. Let me go to settings, let me go to themes, let me go to color themes, and not light exactly, but solarize would be, no, not solarize, man. Some better theme. Modern dark default. Solarized dark would be good. Yeah, at least I'm getting getting something out of this now. It's okay. Here what we can do is we can go to source control again. Yeah, here's the message that it was talking about. So I'll say again, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Okay, I'll say initial commit to. Let's commit it. Let's publish the branch. So as soon as you say I want to publish the branch, it says allow Git to sign into GitHub. Yeah, absolutely. Please sign into GitHub. See, GitHub is also owned by Microsoft, and this VS Code is also owned by Microsoft. So Microsoft by default stays in its own ecosystem. So it's okay for me. Let me sign in. Yeah, we are already signed in. So now it will ask me whether you want to create a private repo or a public repo. I'll say private repo. You see an icon over here. It says that this is the local repo. So this commit is only in your local repo. There is no cloud as of now here. But after we do this, then the cloud will appear. Cloud icon will appear here. Sign in using the browser. Yeah. I was already signed in, by the way. Seriously, my PC is extremely slow today. I don't know what's wrong with it. It happens every time I do a recording, something or the other happens. Okay, I've already taken an hour just to create this project, but I really wanted to show you the setup. That's very important to you. I don't want to skip any steps. I can't be reached. I don't know what to do. Let me go here. Okay, successfully published also. Okay, now open in GitHub. Open in GitHub and check. Yeah, it has already created this repo. So here I had only 3 repos so far, right? And it has just created this another private repo just a minute ago. And it has published all the code onto that repo. Okay, that's great. Now you see, along with this icon, you have a cloud icon as well. Okay, so here once again, you're going to see that blue represents local, and that icon like an aim, that icon is also the local repo. And purple represents global branch, there is a cloud branch, or maybe the cloud git repo, and it has that cloud icon. Okay, and this is your source control graph. So as and when you keep on committing, it will keep telling you that suppose there are a lot of commits over here, then it will show that your main repo is at so and so commit, so this icon will appear there, and your global commit is at this level, your global repo is at this commit level. Okay, so that is how it will show. Okay, I guess that is more than enough. Now let us jump to Jenkins. Okay, so this is all. Now let's jump to Jenkins. So once again, my summary slides, I'll come to. We created the app, right? We haven't created an Android APK out of it. So let's do that first. So what I'll do is, this is my Android app, as you can very well see. Now what I'll do is I'll create an Android app out of it. So for that, you again open the terminal, and of course you close this thing. Yeah, here you'll put Ionic Capacitor add Android. So notice in the file explorer, you will see that there is no Android folder. So this is .angular, .vs code, but this Angular folder, Android folder is not there. As soon as I run this command, that folder will get created. So what it is doing is, it is copying your www folder into this. So yeah, the platform got added and everything is fine, but it is giving me a warning that www directory does not exist. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is, I'll do Ionic build build prod. So that will just create a production build. That means it will create the www folder. Yeah, would you like to share pseudonymous data? No, I don't want to share anything with you. I don't trust Google. Okay, so generating browser application bundles. Okay, so now it will create that www folder. Might take a while. What else after that? Yeah, npx capacitors, copy and sync. Okay, so this is done. Okay, great. So it must have created, yes, this www folder. And now if I do Ionic, npx. Now what is npx? So when you say npm, it is about node package manager. So it will either install a node package, that is node module, or update it, or delete it, means uninstall it. So these are the only 3 things npm does. But when you say npx, it actually executes some command. So now here I want to execute a command. So I want capacitor to copy the content of that www into the Android project. So see what happens. So it is copying the web assets from www to Android project. So within Android there is app folder, source, main, assets, public. So these assets got copied over there. Then it says that creating a capacitor config JSON, okay, over here inside the assets folder under Android. And then copy Android, copy web. Would you like to improve? No, 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 I don't want to improve anything. Okay, done. Then you say npx capacitor sync. So again, it does the same thing. It just synchronizes the data between your www and your Android project. So once again, see the same command, same things it's doing: copying, creating capacitor config JSON, copy Android, copy web is not given, but updating the plugins. Yeah, it updates the plugins. So found 4 plugins for Android. These are the 4 plugins. Okay, and now updated on now copy web. Update web. So turns out that probably I should have just ran this command. This was not even needed because essentially this command does all the things that capacitor copy does, but in addition to that it also installs or updates the plugins. Okay, then I guess that is okay, that is enough. Now let us create an APK. Now this much part I can just commit. So notice that it is not committing the entire Android folder, but it is definitely committing see this entire it is actually committing all this Android folder. But then there are a few folders that it left out, like capacitor code over Android plugins. Fine, no problem. Okay, so let me just say created Android project. Would you like to stage all the see the changes? I haven't staged them, so you have to stage them before you can commit them. So I say, yeah, please commit, I mean stage them. Okay, and synchronize. Okay, this action will pull and push the commits from and to, means pull from and push to origin/master. So now see the cloud is at this commit, and main is at the, I mean your local repo was at that one, and now both of them are at the latest commit. Okay, now this much is done. Now what we can do is we can create a Java key store, and we can sign the APK using it. So let me check, let me just show you one thing. If you go to Android app and if you go to build, if you go inside that, there's nothing, right? So we haven't built the Android project yet. So to build an Android project, what you need to do is you go to this Android project first, and inside this you see Gradle W. You ask that Gradle W to create an unsigned APK. So the way to do it is here I have given you clean the build and then create an assemble release. So this is that command. So I'll do one thing, I'll just copy the command from here. I'll go to command prompt. Now here in the command prompt I'm going to say that please go to Android first, and then you execute the command Gradle W, that is Gradle wrapper. Gradle is the build tool of Android. So dear Gradle wrapper, could you please create a release build? Could you please assemble the release, means create the release build. So now see what happens. So it is downloading Gradle. Gradle is the, now why is it downloading Gradle 8.2.1? Because that version is given, really I don't like this theme either. Yeah, so that version is given in capacitor settings Gradle. No, it's not given here, but it is given somewhere. Let me just tell you where it is given. Gradle properties. Class path, correct. Build Gradle. So it's given over here in build Gradle. You see over here, whatever is given in the class path, this gets downloaded. Okay, so let us see, has it downloaded? Okay, 100% downloaded. Then what? Now it should use that Gradle to create your unsigned APK in the release mode. So now starting the Gradle daemon, subsequent builds will be faster. That's what it says. Okay, so resolve files to class path. Okay. So it is only configuring the Gradle for the first time. So the same things we did in the last video, Ionic tutorial video, we did exactly the same thing, creating an unsigned APK. We did that in Ionic, this Android Studio. Okay, now it is failing. What does it say? It could not determine the dependencies of the task. This define a valid SDK location in Android home environment. Okay, so what we can do is, so let me go to Android Studio for the first time, and let me just open a project. So the project that I'd like to open is the same that I'm into at the moment. I'll just copy this path. Yeah, this is Android. I'm just copying the path. I'm pasting the path over here. Okay, I'll say for the first time when you open it, you have to say you trust that project. Okay, now once this is done, what we can do is the Gradle will automatically run. So you're seeing that the Gradle is building. I hope it doesn't give the same error over here as well. Let it build and let us see what happens. See, in this notifications, all the notifications get logged. So this is the latest one. So even if I close it from here, it still stays over here, so don't worry about it. Setting up, run configurations. Okay, so could you create the build? Sync completed. Okay, only this much happened. Fine. Now with all that sync, can you do the same thing again? And maybe can you assemble the release build? Yeah, now configuring is done already. I did that in Android Studio itself. Executing. I hope it passes this time. 70. Okay, 21%. Okay, 90%. Must be very close now. See, previously build failed in 1 minute 44 seconds itself. Now it has already taken 2 minutes 1 second. So I hope it passes this time. So wherever it has failed, it has probably gone past it now, and that's why it's taking a longer time. Okay, build is successful. Very good. So the tip is that if your Gradle fails for some reason, then just open the same project in Android Studio, so it will sync the Gradle, and then you give the same command and you'll get that build. Now if you open Android project, here you'll see app build, and now this is a new thing. You did not have this earlier. In build, you just had this .npm keep. You did not have any of these four folders. So what do they have? Okay, so this thing I did not understand at all, so let's leave it. This thing again I did not understand at all, leave it. This thing is what I understand. It has APK and release. So what was the command that we gave? Assemble release, and that's why it created a release build. And that build, that means the artifact, that means the end product, is actually an unsigned APK. Got the idea? So this is how you get an unsigned APK. Now how will you sign this APK? Again, go to my summary slides. You will see over here. First of all, you have to create a Java key store, that is JKS file, and it will have a Java key. That is an alias that they say, that is a Java key. So let me just copy this thing. Okay, so now enough of this terminal. I'm really sick and tired of this terminal. Let me just open another terminal somewhere nice. Yeah, let me open it. Yeah, over here itself, no problem. So I'm asking key tool to kindly generate a key store at this location. An alias means the key to be stored in it is key greet hello, and the algorithm should be RSA, and the key size should be 2048, and validity should be 10,000 days. Let us see if this works. No, key tool is not recognized. I have key tool, right? Key tool.exe is present. I don't know. See, what I can do is I can just copy it as paths. I can go over here, I can paste it, and then I'll copy the rest of the command that I have. Yeah. So what it will do is it will generate a JKS file, there is Java key store in my user, and then it will generate a key for my greet hello project. Okay, that's it. I think instead of greet hello, I should be saying greet dash hello, something like that. It's okay. What is going wrong now? Oh, it says at line number 148. Okay, gen key, unexpected key token gen key. Wait a minute. I'll do one thing. I'll remove that code and I'll add these escape symbols. And over here I have to give codes because there's space. Yeah, so it worked. Now key store password. So it's going to ask me what password I want to give. I gave a password. It's asking me to repeat the password. Now it's asking me my first name and my last name, my organizational unit, individual. I don't have an organization, right? So that's why. City and city or locality is Pune. It is in Maharashtra state, and the country is India. Yes, this is the information I want. So now I said it created the key for 10,000 days, and it's self-signed certificate, this, that. Okay, fine, everything is given. So it finally has created this file that is Amit Shirasao.jks. So let me just show this to you. Let me go to that location, C colon users Amit S. Okay, so here this file is there, JKS file. Okay, and you cannot open and see it because, means you can definitely open it, but you cannot understand what is written inside it because it is encoded. So you cannot read this, right? It's more difficult than French. So leave it. Now, so that is how you create a JKS, that is Java Key Store. Now we have to sign that unsigned APK, right? So how will we do that? Let me see what I did. So this is the APK signer. Sign using the alias and using the key store that we just created, and then the password is okay. So here I should be giving the password that I actually gave, which was not this, which was something different. I'll definitely blur out the password. I won't show it to you. Okay, and then finally we gave the path of the unsigned APK that needs to be signed. So let me give the path of that unsigned APK. So here is that unsigned APK. I'll say right click, copy path, and here I will paste that path. Okay, it says unexpected parameter because yeah, there is a space. So there is this space, right? All my code, right? There's space between them. So you have to give it in quotes, or maybe only this much also you can give in quotes. That is also absolutely okay. You just give this part in quotes. Rest is okay. And I guess you'll have to give escape characters everywhere. Yeah, that's done. Now it has signed it. Now how will you verify it? So for verification, you will run this command. So I'm copying this and I'm pasting it here. See, again, I'm saying go to the build tool APK signer, and here verify whether this APK is properly signed or not. So for verification, again, the same path. So I'll just copy this path. I'll paste it here. Yeah, so let us see what it gave. See, it said that verified using V1 scheme, true, V2 scheme, true, V3 scheme, true, 3.1 scheme, false, 4 scheme, false, and verified for source stamp, false. And then it gave a lot of warnings, but there is no error. So it's absolutely fine. This is how it is. I must have given this in my PPTs as well. Yeah, you see over here, V1, V2, V3 true, and 3.14 and source stamp false. And then it will give a lot of warnings as I've given over here. Okay, it's absolutely fine. So it is verified. It is verified that it is signed properly. So now we can run all these commands using the command prompt. This has been proven. Now let us go and create our Jenkins pipeline. So for installing Jenkins, you go to the official website. You have a download button over here. You can download either a long-term support build or a weekly release build. So I'll say yes, long-term support, please. Past release. So here long-term release there is for Windows, and this must be a weekly release. This version is a little forward version as compared to the LTS version, but always prefer LTS because it is stable, it is well tested, and it has long-term support. Okay, now it is downloading the MSI. Okay, let us start the setup. Remember this path. Again, in the program files, Jenkins folder is created. This is the installation folder of Jenkins. Then here choose the first option, choose the port, test it, go next. Here it wants the JDK version. Now you know what is your JDK version. It is Java JDK 21. So it says I only support JDK 11, 17 and 21. So I've already installed JDK 21. So I'm just giving that path, Java JDK 21 till bin you have to give. Okay, fine. I'll go next. Could not find a compatible version. So let me see. I guess I did not give the right path. So is this path valid? Yeah, it is. I'm just copying this. I'm pasting it here. Fail to compile. Acha, so probably it doesn't require this bin. So just give path until JDK 21. Okay, fine. Here are the services that you want, or the firewall exceptions that you want to add. So leave it the way it is, install. It will install very quickly. It's a very small software. Finish. Now to verify installation, go to services. Here you will see there should be a service called Jenkins. So let me search by Jenkins. Yeah. So this service, as you can see, is running and it is automatic, so that it automatically starts, and it is running on the local system, of course. Okay, that's it. That means it is installed properly. After that, what do you do? You can install ngrok as well, right from the website, official website. But I'll first start the Jenkins server. So to start the Jenkins server, this is a command that you need to give. So I'll go to command prompt. I'll give this command. Okay, do I need to change anything? Program files, this fine, absolutely. Jar, and this is the jar. So let us see whether this jar exists or not. So in the installation folder of Jenkins, this jar must be present. So let me go to the installation folder of Jenkins, and yes, jenkins.var is present. So it's absolutely fine. Now just run it. Here I have given the HTTP port as at 8081, but Jenkins recommends that you should be giving 8080, but then it gives an exception. So let me show that exception to you first, just to justify why I've given another port. So here, as you can see, it failed to start Jetty because it failed to bind to this port, and that's why I always give 8081 instead of this port. So I'll go down over here, I'll do CLS, clear the screen, and I'll not this one, the same command with another port. And now, as you can see, this is the password that I need to copy, and this password is also given in this particular file. So I can just open this file in Notepad and see there is a password over here. I need to copy this, and I need to give it somewhere. So what is that somewhere? Now this Jenkins server is running at localhost 8081. Okay, so I don't know where that message is, but it is now running at localhost 8081. So what I can do is I can go to the browser and open localhost 8081, localhost 8081. So this is the Jenkins server running. I can just paste this password over here. Now it is asking me whether I want to install suggested plugins or I want to select the plugins on my own. So I'll say install selected plugin, the plugins as per your wish. So it selects these all plugins for installation. As and when it is installing them, it marks them into green and it gives a tick mark in front of them. That means they are installed. At the same time, you can also see this console running over here. So for build timeout means this one, what has happened? So buoyancy, castle API, credentials, plain credentials, variant, SSH credentials got installed. So this way you can just have a track of it. Let it install. Okay, so after all the plugins get installed, it is going to ask you to create an admin user. So in this user, you cannot give dot, alphanumeric things and dash, and probably underscore is also allowed. I'm going to give some password. And the email address. Okay, fine. So this is the admin user using which I'll have to log into Jenkins henceforth. And it has taken this 8081 because we started this using the command. I mean, we started this Jenkins server using this command. HTTP port should be 8081. That's why it has given 8081 over here. So Jenkins is ready. Now you can either press this button or just reload the page so that you land on the landing page. So this is the landing page and this is Jenkins. Now if you log out or the next time you enter it, then you're going to need to give the same username which you just gave, which you just created, and the same password to log in. Now notice that on the landing page it is giving one warning that you haven't set up an agent, you haven't set up cloud, etc. Don't worry so much about it because the agent is there. So if you go to manage Jenkins either from here or if you go to it from manage Jenkins over here, and then you will find nodes over here, then you will see that there is already a built-in node. I can very well use this built-in node. I don't require any other node. So it is still asking me to set up an agent. Agent means node. Means I'm using it quite vaguely, but for the time being, you understand that node is just the same as the agent. Okay, just for the argument's sake. Now, when you say set up agent, then you're going to create another node just like this, and you're calling it agent or the primary agent. But it's not required. Even your built-in node will do exactly the same thing. Okay. Now, what you first need to do is just create another pipeline. Okay. But before we go to the pipeline, I would create this bat file so that next time I have to run this Jenkins server, I don't need to go to the command prompt and paste this big command. I don't need to do that. I'll just copy this command. I'll open Notepad. I'll paste that command. And I'll just save this file. Save as type as all files, and I can call it something like run Jenkins server .bat, and let me keep it at the desktop at the moment so that we can see it live in front of us. Now see, if I kill this command prompt, my Jenkins server will stop working. Where is it? Now if I reload it, it's not going to load, right? So that means the Jenkins server is not working. So I double click on this batch file so that The Jenkins server starts working. Yeah, now Jenkins is fully up and running. See, this time the console logs are a little less. As and when you keep on doing some work on your Jenkins server, these logs are going to grow. Okay. So now it is up and running. Let me go here. Let me reload the page. It's going to ask me to log in, and you know your username and the password, which we just created, by the way. Just log in again. Okay, so this is how you're going to start this server henceforth. Now I'll go to dashboard, of course, and I'll see. Notice that it remembers the last page that you were at. Okay, it doesn't forget anything. Now here you will create a new item. New items are usually, freestyle project or pipeline. Pipeline can be of various types, like a simple pipeline or a multi-configuration project. See, again, a freestyle project or a multi-configuration project. Simple pipeline or branched, multi-branch pipeline. A simple folder or organization folder. Okay, so now what I want is a simple pipeline. Yeah, I need to give a name. So name can be my first pipeline. Okay, it's a pipeline and I'm saying okay. Now here, forget rest of the things, forget these things. Do not select GitHub project over here. It looks like a lucrative option, but please do not do that. Just leave description and everything below description until here. And then there is build triggers. So over here also, for the time being, leave it. Don't worry too much. But then later on we'll be selecting this option when we'll be creating GitHub hook, a webhook in GitHub. So leave it for the time being. You can go over here, you can say the pipeline is going to run this pipeline script. So you can choose from a few ready-made scripts. So I'll say hello world is a good script. So notice how the pipeline script is written. It starts with pipeline. It says use any agent. It says stages. It has these all stages. Then it has one stage called hello, and it echoes. That means it basically prints out hello world. So multiple such stages can be given over here. So I can say hello to you. See, all these are steps within hello stage. Okay, these are steps within hello stage. So echo hello to me. Okay, you get the idea, right? And similarly, you can have multiple stages. So I can just say copy this. I can paste it over here. Now instead of hello, I'll say bye. And here also I'll say bye world, bye to me, and sorry, bye to you and bye to me. Okay, so this is how you give your pipeline script. I know it's pretty lame, but it's just for your example. Now that was your pipeline. You saved it. Now you can build it. So when you build it, you see it under the build history that a new build has been triggered at so and so time. Why is the time wrong? See, I tell you what is the time now? Time in India is 5 a.m. So I don't know why that time is wrong. Let me adjust the date and time. Adjust. I can directly do it from here. Right click, adjust date and time. Yeah, set it automatically. Yeah, time zone. Come on. My time zone is, why don't you set it automatically? Enable the location settings. Okay, go ahead with the location, man. Now, are you showing the right time? No. Yeah, set it automatically. Now see the time location is correct. Fine. So it is showing the wrong time. It does not update it. It does not backtrack and update it. But henceforth, whenever we trigger another build, it is going to take the right time. So notice that the time taken by this Jenkins server is whatever is your local time. It does not sync that with any global clock, right? Otherwise it would have known that it is 5 a.m. 5:30 a.m. in India, but it took it as what 4:54 p.m. I wonder why it is still okay. So the time doesn't change as long as you don't restart your Jenkins server. See, for this kind of things you require, and let me close all the command line windows, by the way. See, for this kind of things you need that exe to be created, sorry, the batch file to be created, yeah, so that you don't have to run it all over again. So this is done. Why is it on top of the come on, yeah. Now we'll go to localhost 8081 once again log in. It will remember the page that I was at. So it will remember, oh my god, it did not remember. I'll have to go to the pipeline. See, here it updated it now. It updated it on its own that at the time when this was built was 5:54 a.m. and this one was 5:25 a.m. Now if you go to it, you find a couple of options over here. You can see the console output. It gives a lot of console output and it might be a little difficult for you to understand in the beginning. So I'll recommend you to go to pipeline overview. This gives a simplistic view of that pipeline. It says that the pipeline has these two stages from between start and end, and both of them have passed. If you click on any of them, it tells that they have these three steps. Okay, so that stage has these three steps. So every step is collapsed and you can expand it by clicking on it. So when you expand it, this arrow goes from down to up. Okay, it flips itself. That means it is now in the expanded state. Now if you click it again, it will collapse. Once again, the arrow returns to its original orientation. And all of these headers are in green. That means all these steps have passed. And there's a tick also, which also means that they have passed. Had any of them failed, then instead of this green color, it would be a red color, and instead of a green tick, it would be a red cross. Okay, so in every step you can see what has happened. It has printed out this message, it has printed out this message, it has printed out this message. So that's how you study a pipeline. And let me go to the let me see, this is the breadcrumb. So you don't need to press the browser back arrow, but if you still want to, you can use it, but it's always easier to do it this way. Okay, go to the breadcrumb. Here if you want to see the console output, then it also basically says the same thing, but it gives a little more info. Like for example, this pipeline was started by Amit Shirasao. It started automatically, means it was manually started by Amit Shirasao. Okay, running on Jenkins in. This is the place where this pipeline is getting executed. Then what else is it saying? It is just saying that, see, whatever commands it is reading, it is consoling out them, and whenever there is an actual console out, it prints it in dark. So you come to know that this is actually console. This is the actual console out, and this is what it is just speaking to itself. So that is grayed out. See, I read this command. That's what it is speaking to itself. But then whatever you ask it to do, that is in dark. Okay, so that's why console is a little difficult to understand. So please go to the pipeline overview. There is a much better way of reading your pipeline. Okay, so far what we have seen is we have to manually trigger this pipeline, and it does work. Now what I want is the pipeline should get auto triggered whenever I push any code to the master branch. So how to do that? For that you require a webhook to be installed in GitHub. So let's go that way, then I'll come to the ngrok. So let's go to your Git repo. Here under settings you will be seeing webhooks, and in webhooks you will add a webhook. While adding it, it is going to say that give me the payload URL. So what is this payload URL? See, this webhook will send a post request to the URL given below, that is this payload URL, with details of any subscribed events. You can also specify which data format you would like to receive, that is JSON or unencoded form, etc. So what it means is, whenever any of these events happens, like just notify the push event or notify me about every event. So depending upon which option you choose here, whenever that event happens, this webhook is going to intimate or notify the URL given over here that such and such event has taken place. Got it? So here I should be giving the URL of my Jenkins server, which is localhost 8081. But now localhost 8081 is my PC's port, and I don't want GitHub to directly access my port of my local machine. I don't want this. So I want to set some proxy in between, So GitHub will never know or never need to know my IP address to communicate with my machine. Okay, I'll give it a proxy URL, and that proxy URL will internally communicate with my localhost 8081. So how can I create that proxy? That proxy can be created using ngrok, and that's what ngrok is all about. So let us go ahead and install ngrok. So this is the official website. Now this website says you can sign in and this and that. Let me check. Let me log in. So I usually log in using my Google account. So this is my Google account. I'm logging in. Yeah, here you can download it for Windows. So here it will give you the steps for Windows. So you see, if you select Linux over here, it will give the steps for Linux agent. Now I have Windows agent. Here the installation steps consist of three things. One is downloading ngrok. So either you can use Chocolatey for doing it, or you can download it directly. Chocolatey is just like npm. It is a package manager. Now I don't have Chocolatey on my machine, so first I'll have to install Chocolatey and then run this command. Instead of that, I can directly go here and I can download it for 64-bit because I have a 64-bit machine. If you have a 32-bit machine, then you can choose this button. How do I know that it is a 64-bit system? Once again, I'm telling you, go to system information. Here you will see that it is a 64-bit or 64-based PC. So I'll require this 64-bit setup. Okay, let us do that. So it is downloading a zip file. I'll just open this zip file. There's just this exe. I'll just drag it onto the desktop. So it will just copy it onto the desktop. See, this ngrok.exe is over here. Now the second step is, see, this is the first step, right? Just to install it. After that, install it means just have that exe on your system. That's it. That is installation. Then you run this command to add auth token to the default ngrok YAML file. YML file means YAML file. So this is a configuration file of ngrok, and you need to store this auth token inside this. So this auth token is a function of your username or the user account. So I've used Gmail to log in, so it has this auth token. Had I used any other system to log in, let us say if I had used GitHub to log in, then the authentication token would have been different. Okay, so it depends upon which way you log in through. Means it depends upon your account. So for my account, I have this authentication token. Ideally, I should not be showing it to you, but yeah, it's okay. I trust you. So you just copy this and you just run it in the command prompt. You have to run it wherever ngrok exe is present. Otherwise, you have to give a fully qualified name of ngrok. Means give the entire path of wherever ngrok is there. So I'll prefer to run it right over here. I'll open in terminal. I'll say just run this command. Okay, the command ngrok is not found. Oh, come on, you're just there. Come on, you just oh, I'm so sorry. The setup has to be run. My bad. I forgot this. The setup has to be run. Wait a minute. ngrok tunnel support, this, that, tx. Okay, let me run this command. Yeah, it see, I just opened this exe, then after that I just ran this command over here. Okay, now that authentication token has been copied to this YAML file. So let me just open this YAML file. So I'll go to this location, and this is the YAML file. I'll try to open it with just notepad. Yeah, so you see over here the version is given and the same authentication token has been copied to this file. That is all that this command does. So we have done both these things now. We have installed ngrok, and we have also added the authentication token to that YAML configuration file, means configuration file of ngrok, which is ngrok.yaml. Now the third thing that we need to do is to create a proxy for a certain URL. So here, using this command, I am creating a proxy for localhost 8080. This is called as ephemeral domain. That means if you're using a temporary domain like localhost, then you call it as ephemeral domain. Whereas static domain means some domain like amit-shirasao.com. So that will be what? That will be my static domain. Now currently I don't have that kind of a static domain. I have just this localhost thing, so I'll use the ephemeral domain. So I'll just copy this. I'll once again go to the command prompt wherever that ngrok is there. So it is at the desktop, so I can run this over here, and I'll say 8081 because my Jenkins server is running at 8081. I wonder what is wrong with this window. I'll select the other window. Not the Jenkins one. Yeah, this one. This is that magic window where everything happens. Okay, fine. I'll try to create a proxy. Yeah, that proxy got created. So that proxy got created, and this is the proxy URL. This is the proxy URL. Okay, I'm just copying this. Now in the GitHub, in the payload URL, you give this URL, but you always have to put /github-webhook / so always remember this thing. You mug this up. You have to remember this /github-webhook / some people give here webhooks. That is wrong. Some people forget this last slash. That is also wrong. You have to remember it as it is /github-webhook / okay. And here you can choose the content type. I'll choose JSON. Normally you can choose any of them, doesn't matter. Secret I leave as it is. Here the event, I want to be notified for push events alone, but if you want to be notified by all the events, then you can select send me everything, or let me select individual events. Here you can select individual events. I think Yeah, means here, pull request, if a pull request is generated, then also you do this. So sometimes pipelines have to be invoked whenever pull request is generated, so that the developer comes to know that, due to this pull request, this pipeline has been generated and the build has failed. So if you want that kind of a feature, then please select pull request over here. Otherwise, in general, for the time being, at least for this demonstration, I'm just saying just the push event. So when you push the code onto any of the branches of this repo, then it is going to notify this proxy URL, which points to localhost 8081, that such and such event has taken place on such and such branch. Then it is up to the Jenkins server to decide whether, okay, is this a branch that I was looking at? And if yes, then it will trigger the build. Okay, now it will happen automatically. So what we'll do is we'll just save this. Okay, we'll just save this. So when you save it, now this is a bug with GitHub, it always shows a dot over here, and ideally it should be showing a tick. So for that, just refresh the page and it will show a tick. So by showing a tick, it means this webhook is successfully deployed. You configure this. Now over here, we did not mention that you have to, this build triggers, so you have to check this option, right? And then it happens. Okay, now what you do is, instead of this pipeline script, you have to write pipeline script from SCM, that is source code manager. And here you select the source code manager as git, and here you use the repository URL which you just copied. The credentials, you don't have credentials, so just create a few credentials. The credentials manager over here is Jenkins, but then Jenkins could have another plugin as well, and you can use that plugin as the credentials manager. Credentials manager is a software which will keep a track of all your credentials. So I'm using Jenkins as a credential manager at the moment. Here you keep everything the same, just give a username of your GitHub. This is the username of my GitHub, and the password of my GitHub. Okay, leave everything the same except maybe give some description. So I'll give a description as my GitHub credentials. Okay, this is done. I'll just save it. Yeah. Now once again configure. See, you see one thing. So we should give the credentials over here now. Now after giving credentials, it will ask me which branch do you want me to keep an eye on. So it is master branch. So whenever there is a push event on master branch, then the pipeline should get triggered. And then and of course this is the branch from which it will clone the code, and then it will run that pipeline. And then here I'll say yeah, so this is the file in which I'll give all the data. Okay, so this is the file. So now what was my data? So I'll do one thing. I'll create some data, no problem. I'll just save it. Now let me create that file over here. So it has to be in the root folder over here. So I'll just create a new file over here, right click, new file, Jenkins file, the same name that I just saw. Now here I can create a new pipeline. Now I want an example of a new pipeline, so I'll just go here, I'll just try to create a new item, just say ABC, it's pipeline. I'll just go here and I'll just get this code. So I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it over here, and I won't save anything. I'll just go back. Yeah, I keep doing this sometimes. Oh my god, it got saved. So even if it got saved, you can always delete the pipeline. I never needed it. I just wanted to take the syntax. So this file is done. It has one stage, hello, and it says hello world. Okay, fine. I just have to commit this. So as soon as I commit this, now it should trigger a pipeline, trigger a build in this pipeline, and it should execute code from here. So now this pipeline script is given in this file. So I'll say Jenkins file was created. Okay. So it has synchronized the changes, and now if I go to the pipeline, can build it. Yeah, at least it will tell me whether the pipeline is now it's checking out, and then hello. Okay, fine. So it took hello from this file. It must have printed hello world, correct? Then why is it not triggering on its own when I change something over here? Once again, I'll make it hello. I'll say change the greeting. Synchronized it. Yeah, it got created. It is running now. I don't know what was happening, but yeah, Jenkins gives you a lot of trouble sometimes. So the only takeaway I think is trigger it manually once, and after that it automatically keeps triggering. Okay, fine. So that is the takeaway. Even I didn't know about it. Now if you study this properly, it says started by GitHub push. It does not say that it started on its own or somebody else did that. It says started by GitHub push, and that GitHub push was done by this username, that is Amit-Shirasao. Then it obtained the Jenkins file from this repo, and it is running the script from this file. Then start of the pipeline, running on Jenkins over here. Jenkins or .jenkins should be having workspace folder, and inside that it should have all the pipelines that I've created. So this is my pipeline. So it executes everything inside this pipeline. So the first thing it does, it creates a Git repo over here, the local Git repo, and it basically clones that global Git repo over here in this folder, my pipeline. Okay, so you will see this selected Git installation does not exist. So using default Git tool is that Git reverse pass resolve this. Okay, fine. Git configuration origin URL is this. Okay, fine. Git version. Okay, fine. So this is the important command, that it is checking out the code which is having this. I think this must be my commit ID. Okay, so it is checking out this commit. So let me check whether the commit ID is the same. So let me go to my greet hello. Let me go to master, and where do you see all these commits? Yeah, this is the commit. So the commit is 6. Okay, let me just go to it. So this is the commit. The commit ID is 6AFEEAB. So here the commit is 6AFEEAB. So it is that commit only. And also, if you still don't have confidence, then it will even give the commit message. Yeah, the commit message is this: changed the greeting. So see, when it is checking out, it's checking out the same commit, which is also having this particular commit ID. So it first gets out, or it clones your repo, or checks out a certain commit from your repo, and then it finally runs this pipeline, and the pipeline just has one stage which has only one step, which has only one this echo command. So that's it, and it has succeeded. But let's do the last bit of it. Now whatever we did right in the beginning, creating an APK, signing that APK, now let's try to do this right over here in our Jenkins file. So let us create those stages. So what I'll do is, so where are those stages getting executed? So these stages will always get executed inside your pipelines workspace folder. That means this folder, my first pipeline. Over here, all those stages will get executed. So why don't we run these stages once on our own, just to check whether they are running. If they are running, then we'll add them to the add them as stages in our Jenkins file. Okay, so what I can do is I can right click, open in terminal, and here I can use these commands one by one. npm install, obviously it is going to take place, there's no problem there. It might take a minute or two. So what it's going to do is over here it has this package.json file. It will read all the packages from here, and then it will create a folder called node modules, and it will actually put all those packages, it will download them into that node modules, and then it will also update the package log.json with the actual version of the packages that it has installed. So let that happen. Okay, it's just giving warnings. See, if this thing works out, we'll just create that stage in the pipeline. So let me create the stage in the pipeline. Okay, install node modules. So we'll go over here. The stage name should be install node modules, and here I'll be saying, instead of echo, I'll be saying it's a batch file or batch command, and I'll say npm install. Okay, this is how you do it. Let me see whether it succeeded. Yeah, it did get succeeded. These are my packages got added. Let me check. Let me refresh. Yeah, it has node modules and node package log.json has all these entries made, so it's absolutely fine, no problem. Okay, the next stage that you want to add is Ionic build prod. So does it get executed properly first? Let me check. Ionic build prod. I gave a space, I guess. What's the problem? Users data roam, okay, cannot be loaded because of running scripts. So what's going on? Running scripts is disabled on this system. More information. Seriously, why would you do that? Oh yeah, it's a PowerShell. I don't want PowerShell. It has to be of the type command prompt. And yeah, once again, let me go to this location. I'll just copy the location. I'll paste the location over here, and I'll say cd to that location. Yeah, I'll close this up. I'll say what was the command? Ionic build prod. Now it should run. Okay, hopefully it does run. If it runs, then I'll create another stage for it. Okay, and the stage's name should be build Ionic project to get www folder, means to get the website. Okay, fine. So that is another stage, and then we'll add another stage. Okay, this is done. So this works. So we added that stage. Now next command is now go to Android, and then clean this Gradle W, means Gradle wrapper clean. This is something that might not work if the Gradle is not working well. Gradle gives you a lot of trouble, so Gradle does not work. Okay, so when this happens, you know the trick now. So the way you do is, what is the case? It says problem occurred evaluating the script. Capacitor Gradle, something happened. Build failed with an exception. So don't worry about it. What you need to do is just copy this path. Go to your Android Studio. You just open. You first close this. So close the project. Now you open a new project. And you paste this thing. So now trust the project. So when you do this, this Android Studio is going to check the configuration of Gradle, download things if they are not there. Okay, caused by something script. Okay, workspace code over does not exist. Okay, so yeah, I get it now. So before this, I need to run this. I think Ionic. Yeah, cd dot or go back. Here you say Ionic capacitor. Sorry, npx capacitor copy, and then npx capacitor sync. You have to do this. Npx capacitor sync. Is it just me, or you're also realizing that this is really running very fast? So very nice. Now you try to run the same command. Go to Android and try to run. See, the build got executed successfully. So this means we need to add these stages as well. So I need to do this, that create or copy and sync Android with www folder. Okay, so I'll say npx capacitor copy and npx capacitor sync. Okay, you first do this, and then you execute this thing. I'll say clean Android build. Okay, so this will happen. After that, what will we do? After that, what should we do? After this will work. Now let us see whether this thing works. Okay, so let me see whether this thing works. I'll just copy this. See, in the command prompt, I don't require to go back to Android folder, but if you're writing it as a stage in the pipeline, then the pipeline resets to the place from where the pipeline is working. So every time you have to say cd Android and do something, cd Android and do something. Okay, now let me check over here. See, it's already in Android. I'm just saying Gradle wrapper, please create assemble release. That means create a release build. It's an unsigned APK in the release mode. It's going to take some time, I guess, but it should work. 79-80%. Don't you think it's really fast? The last time we ran it, it took like forever, but this time, see, it's really fast. I don't know whether this is because of Jenkins, but it's really fast. It's faster than normal actually. Okay, 35% executing. Okay, the build is successful. Okay, then I'll do one thing. I'll just copy this, create unsigned APK. I'll put this as my stage, and I'll put this code for creating unsigned APK. Fine. Then the next thing that we do is we try to sign this APK. So signing this APK, and the next thing will be to verify that APK. So I don't think there's anything problematic in this. I can just create those stages, sign the APK, and this is the code that I'm going to use. Now you see in this code, I have to modify a few things. We will read it, no problem. So the way to read it is, yeah, this. I'll change the theme as well, you know, it's really getting on my nerves now. Yeah, this one is much better. So C colon this that, okay, what is this? APK signer. So dear APK signer, could you please sign using this key in this alias in this password. So I'll change the password to what I really gave, and which file. So this is the file, right? So I'll do one thing, I'll try to use this file. I'll see whether it really exists. So I'll copy this, and I'll check whether it does exist. Yeah, app release unsigned APK. Does it exist? App release unsigned APK. Great, it does exist. So this stage should work. Okay, and I'll try to run it now. Yeah, it should work. Yeah, it did work. Now the next thing is to verify it. So I'll go here, I'll say verify if the APK is correct, assigned properly. So stage, okay, and this is the command. So let me just copy this. Okay, yeah, here the escape symbols are not given. So you go again to the same place and say that dear app signer, could you please verify? So dear app signer, could you please verify verbosely whether this particular file has been signed properly? So let me copy this path again. Okay, dear APK signer, verify verbosely on this thing. I'll just delete, paste. Great. I'll do one thing, I'll just copy this, and this thing also I think needs an update. So I'm putting it nicely. Yeah. Okay, that's it. I guess that should work. Let me see whether it works. Paste it. Yeah, so it gave me a lot of warnings, and before the warnings it has said that verified using v1 scheme true, v2 scheme true, v3 true, 3.1 false, 4 false, and source time false. So that is exactly what you want. Now what we do is we try to check in this file and then see whether the pipeline runs properly. So all the stages have been added to Jenkins file. Save it, sync it. See this? It will correct itself. Yeah, very nice. And now you go back to this pipeline and check whether, yeah, there is a trigger. Yeah, there is a trigger, 6:26 a.m. Perfect. So what is happening? 10 seconds ago it started, it remained queued for 9 seconds, took 10 seconds and counting. So checking out the code now, it's not going to take very long because it already has uh, the checked out code, so it does not require that long. Again, installation of the node modules also doesn't require very long because the node modules are already present. It just have to go check, yeah, it's everything is present. Then Ionic build, yeah, this will take time. Yes, the entire pipeline has passed. So this is how you do it. Got the idea? Jenkins is a very easy thing. A very easy thing thanks to the way I studied and thanks to Mayuri. Actually, she made it look very easy for me. Otherwise, I mean, I've lost the touch with development since so many years. So before I close the video, I'll just say that please go through this PPT. I'm giving the link to this PPT in my video description. And with utmost regard, I'd like to thank Mayuri Sindekar for making this video possible. Until next time, Jai Shri Ram. This is Amit Shirasao, and you can support me at amit.shirasao@UPI.